Randhir Singh from Directorate of Wheat Research, Karnal. We deliver message to the farmers, but there is a limit that we can't send more than 200 message to the farmers, and that creates a problem for us. Mr. Kantarao presented IT policy and others. If any of the panelists can take up this issue with concerned organizations, and then there is a differentiation between individuals sending messages or the government institutions or development agencies sending messages, that would be really a favor to us and the farming community.
Thank you.
Can I?
I'm Dr. C.S. Arora. I'm Senior Consultant with the National Mission on Education through ICT. My question is to Mr. V.L. Kantarao. You stated that in the National IT Plan 2012, one member in each of the households in India has to be made illiterate. Now, apart from freezing the plan, what implementation strategy and mechanism have you thought of for educating about 20 to 25 crore of citizens on illiteracy?
Morning, sir. I'm Dr. Davija, Commissioner for Trainings in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. My question is just small to Mr. Vijender Singh Niranjan about the IDA. We are talking about common citizens' payment, and most of the common citizens may not have credit card to pay, or they may not have PC or desktop to have printout of the valid receipt, as you said that it is valid, the printout of the receipt paid by e-payment. Is it mobile enabled system, or it is a desktop or PC enabled? If it is desktop PC, then I think the common man is not being so much benefited. Very small percentage is being benefited. My second submission is to Anil Sarup sir. It is regarding the RSBI smart card. You just mentioned a small mention about health related data to be included in that, but then it was not little clearly elaborate. I would be more interested to know little about it. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am.
Yes. I'm Dr. Ila Kumar from Gautam Buddha University. I am University Coordinator of NME ICT project, that's a National Mission on Education through ICT. Probably Mr. Kantarao may answer. My question is, once I have attended a meeting and they said they'll send a utilization certificate of every organization, how much of the national fiber they have bandwidth they have used. But they did not provide the utilization certificate, and the organization have no mechanism to find out how much utilization has been done.
Thank you. I could now ask, beginning with Mr. Kantarao, since most of the questions were also directed there, for the panel to respond and come back. We'll just take the next question in the next set, sir. Thank you.
Afterward.
With the panel's acceptance, should we just take another question? Great, sir. Please, Shams.
My question regarding outsourcing to partnership. 3P talking about public, private, and partnership. I'll say the public, private, and people. We are here empowering the invisible India, where there is no access to the any computer type, and we are reaching to them. And this development of technology should go to the poor. Now, in this process, the government should take the help of the private to minimize the cost to the people. The people should not pay to that, like what we have the example of construction of road, bridges, and all. The government should not pass on the burden to the people for making any sort of the partnership. This is my question. And how this can be done? My question was, Sanjeev Mittal talked about it. This is a challenge. How this challenge can be met by the government? The government, in fact, pays the amount to the persons whom they are talking like passport seva. They are taken from TCS. TCS is doing the job for that. That is only a delivery part the government should take, and regulatory part should they keep with the government. My question, how to do that thing is more important to the government. How can they do it? And what plan can be made? How the bill can be passed? The question is V.L. Kantarao. How this government is doing to make this thing that the government only become regulatory and delivery part done by the private, and the people should not pay for it because they are paying the tax. That's the question.
Thank you so much. Sir, do you like to begin?
Thank you very much for these questions. The first one was on the mobile service delivery gateway. 150 departments from various state governments and the central government are already using the mobile service delivery gateway created by us. CDAC is our agency. If any new department wants to come in, they just have to contact us or CDAC. You can just do a Google on MSDG and you will know the exact contact persons whom to contact. I think I didn't hear the initial part of the question properly. Probably you wanted to know how the private organizations can latch onto MSDG. Is that the question?
No. Even government institutions can...
Yeah, if you're a government institution, it's very easy. There is a contact person in CDAC. You can write to us in DIT. The mobile service delivery gateway is meant for government organizations to use it. If you want to send 10 SMSs or 50 on a day or 1,000 per day, whatever. So we have done about 1.25 crore SMSs already, and it is running well now. And you can I can contact you after this session, and you can be guided. The second question is a tough one, sir, because we are still thinking, we are still making strategies, plans as to how to handle this very ambitious target of making one person per each household illiterate. Because we have done similar projects earlier, it is very tough to think of a most interior tribal area in Madhya Pradesh, and you think of trying to make any one person illiterate in that. I think there are a lot of issues. There is a issue of the facility there. Do we have enough infrastructure there to bring them to one place and even train them? What is the level or the other basic literacy of people where we can start? So there are many, how to bring in the private partnership into this. One or two models that people have suggested is that these days the school education department has spent a lot of money in ICT at school and class project, a lot of projects. So a lot of computers in rural areas at slightly larger villages where there are high schools and middle schools. So we can think of a program where we use those computers, then we bring in a private partner who will put in people there who can teach basic computer literacy, and probably we can run on that basis. Because trying to bring people out of their village for longer time, maybe even for 3 days, is difficult. So, and then we have asked NEELIT, the former DOAC, NEELIT to come up with some ideas on how NEELIT centers can be used in this work. So, we have not come out with a concrete plan as yet. It is in brainstorming stage, and if you have any ideas, I'll be most happy to.
Which are about to be faced by you, because 20 to 25 crore of people, and that too at the inclusion level, at the rural village hamlet level and all that. Where will you get the trainers to train them? What will be the standard amount of curriculum which you will be imparting to them? Which language will be using them for computers? Bringing computers is just one aspect which you have said. But what about the master trainers? What about the bringing the basic curriculum into place, and that too at a standardized level? How will you pay them? How will you ensure that they have certain amount of competency and assessment? So I thought perhaps you would have thought on all that before.
No, we are thinking on all that, and thank you for highlighting all this. All these points are part of our discussions, and we have organizations like NEELIT helping us come up with the program, and we will definitely take input from NME ICT, which is my next question. Madam, I think you are referring to the NKN network bandwidth charges. So,
hello. Yeah, we had a meeting of NMEICT of all the university coordinators, basically vice chancellors, and I was representing Gautam Buddha University. What they said is they are transmitting the data through national optical fiber, and they said they will send a utilization certificate of every organizations automatically generated and will be sent in every March. So that I am saying that was not received, and we have no mechanism to find out how much bandwidth utilization we have done.
Okay, madam, I don't directly deal with this matter, but I'll help you in reaching the correct person who handles NMEICT, and I think this is a small issue which can be resolved. Since I have the mic, I'll make use of this opportunity to handle the last question that was raised on the charges to the people. If you see the Parliamentary Standing Committee's report on our draft EDS bill, it is in the Parliament website, this report. One of the points they raised was exactly what you said. They said that people should not be made to pay service charges for whenever we are doing a delivery through the electronic mode. But it's a good thought. I mean, in a way, your argument is correct. But we still want to leave the decision open to the concerned department. For example, Golak is in passport, they have decided not to charge, and so Ministry of External Affairs is bearing all the cost of infrastructure and service delivery. In MCA project, we have said that companies are coming to file reports, companies are your citizens to whom you are delivering services, and companies can afford to pay. I think MCA, they are charging some nominal charges. So we leave the option open to departments. You are right, when the service delivery is to the common man, to the poorest of the citizen.
Sir, may I request you?
Invisible, which are not seen. I don't know what passport, I don't know what corporate.
So may I request you to please, we'll take some of these discussions offline.
So
we'll have to...
No, the answer is that we agree with you. But the decision, we are a federal structure, there's a state government, there's a central government, there are departments. We are leaving the decision to the concerned government. We have made rules, it is up to the government whether to levy charges, not levy charges, or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll request Mr. Anil Swarup to respond to some of the comments directly.
Let me start with a bit of a disagreement. I disagree that we should be obsessed with the idea of delivering everything free. We've done that for 60 years and we've hardly delivered things to them. I think when we charge, we are evaluated, because the person who pays then has a right to ask me questions why he's not being delivered. When we do things free, we say since it's free, we don't deliver. So that's a difference of opinion. We experimented this in the RSPY. Today, as I said, more than 33 million people have actually paid the amount and taken the smart card. And year on year, they're paying that amount, get that card, because they find value in what we are trying to deliver. And that is the best way to evaluate a scheme, whether the person comes back and pays something to get something, because he sees value in it. Why I use the word value time and again is that ultimately, whatever the government does is being done for a particular target group. So it is the value that that particular target group and its constituents derive out of what the government does ultimately determines whether the project is good or bad. It is not what we do. I mean, each one of us has been speaking about what we are doing. The ultimate determinant of what we are doing is what gets valued by the customer. That was one. Now I come to the question that you raised. Yes, we have taken in principle a policy decision to use these RSBY smart card for housing health related data. And there is a group that has gone into it because there are certain privacy issues. That what all information can or should be put on the card, who all should have access to it, what should be the methodology of access. These are issues that are being debated, but I think in the long run, we will have this. And one small suggestion, just as an aside. I am myself quite computer illiterate and e-illiterate. I think the term needs to be changed. Illiterate sometimes leads to illiterate, no? So coin a different phrase, and probably you'll find people who can do it. In RSPY, we've tried to reach out to people in the field, and we have some experience in terms of how to reach out to them. What really are the instrumentalities through which? This, I think, is the biggest challenge in government schemes, to inform the beneficiary about the benefits that are available to him. It's a huge challenge. And some way has been made. It's a huge challenge, as I said. Thank you.
Would any of the other panelists,
Yeah. I think I also wanted to address that point about charges for services being provided. And I agree with Mr. Anil Swarup that some charges should be levied, whether in this way or that way. And I would say that, what I mentioned in my remarks, when there is competition, I think there is no problem. For example, if you have to pay your Delhi Jal Board bill, you can go to the Delhi Jal Board department and pay without any charges, right? But if next door to your house there is a kiosk where you can make the payment, and for that you have to pay 10 rupees, it's your choice, right? So we are not forcing you to go to a place and pay 10 rupees and pay the bill. It's your choice. And then, so wherever there is competition, wherever the market forces are able to make sure that the right environment happens, then there is no problem. But when there is it's a monopoly situation, you say that you have no option but to pay this, like I was talking about the airport situation and all that, because it's a monopoly situation, there some wrong practices could come in. But overall, I think most of the citizens in the country, the feedback which you get is that they're saying that we're willing to pay for some services, but please deliver us far better services than what we've been getting so far. And I think that is far more important. Whether you charge for services or increase taxes or do something else, I think those are different ways. But I think whenever you're delivering services, citizens are ready to pay for good services. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, Dr. Singh.
On this issue of user charges, incidentally, this concept of free actually is against the basic principle of public policy and social economics, that is user pays or the polluter pays. Otherwise, what is happening? All of us pay through government taxes. Now the road user, only the one who is plying vehicles on that, is paying, not rest of us. The cycle wala, the gadda wala, the bullock cart person is not paying for you. That's against the very thinking, the modern thinking. And incidentally, regarding user charges, while we were evaluating the user charges for railway ticket, it was around 10 rupees. We found out that the rickshawalas at Rohini Chowk, there are some private, mechanisms. एक आदमी जाता है और सबकी टिकट ले आता है, and each rickshawala pays 50 rupees to that person to get his ticket from the railway station. So they surely do not mind paying 10 rupees because they are smarter. They save a lot more.
Thank you, Dr. Singla. Any more responses from the panel?
Just one point to add on the PPP partnership mode. See, whatever project we are doing earlier, especially in the government parlance, I can say, the project you start in a very fancy manner, but how it sustains over a long run. Now, over a time, we have realized that such kind of PPP partnership project, somebody has to feel the pain. Now, how the pain will come? You have to, or we need to make things accountable. Now, making things accountable meaning to say that things has to be delivered in a certain time, certain period, certain investment, certain efficiency. Now, how these all things inclusively, it sustains over a period with a cost, it always with a cost. One can say that I am a taxpayer, right, fine. But then, just because I am paying tax, let's say, for an example, even in the passport seva, earlier, same passport to get, I could happen with some agent, this and that. In a way, 5,000 to 10,000 I will pay. Simply. But I am happy with that. In spite of so many problems in the road. But today, let's say I have done an enormous thing to issue this particular address or to challenge. Let's say charging a minimal fee of 50 rupees. Where is the harm? I have given you not to visit every time to the passport office, not to harp upon everybody behind the agent. All those things has gone away with just a minimal pay of rupees 50. And if you can travel abroad with a passport, why can't you pay rupees 50 for such a good service and for a sustainable service? Thank you.
Mr. Niranjan?
I had only one question on probably why credit cards and why not mobile cards while presenting the thing for Indore Development Authority. Is it? Can everybody hear me? Oh. Yeah, I had just one question on enabling credit cards, and probably it was on a desktop environment, and why not on a mobile or those things. So let me start by a bit of history. When this organization started, you had to actually come and pay by cash. So everybody, irrespective of which property you own, what sector you belong, whether you were rich or poor, you had to do that. Then they increased and they said, okay, let's not handle the cash, let the banks handle the cash, and we save some time. So then it went off to the bank. You could pay cash at the bank, you could pay by a demand draft at the bank. Then there were some challenges. They said, okay, people are paying at the bank, but people like me, I live in Delhi and I own a property in Indore. How do I go to that bank every 3 months to pay my lease rent? I mean, that would be quite a challenge. And there are some people who are abroad, there are some people who are out of town, and then these charges have a due date. So for them, it was decided that, okay, let's give an option that, if people can pay online by a card, and these are not mutually exclusive. Just by paying online doesn't mean that the previous channel has closed. All other previous channels are open. So you can go to the bank, you can pay by cash, you can pay by a draft, and in addition, you can pay online through a card or net banking or other medium. The next step to this is probably what was being suggested, and yes, that was considered, is to pay by a mobile. The application that will probably be developed at the end of this year or next year is, it will allow you to pay by a smartphone mobile, which I guess 50% of us have, but not by a simple mobile. That's one. The second is being considered is a direct deposit. The concept is not very popular here, but it's very popular in the US and UK. You simply give a standing instruction to your bank, and every period of time, that amount of money leaves your bank and comes here. So those are the things that are going on. I must say, despite the large amount of progresses that we have made in e-governance, and Mr. Kantara was telling about them, the mobile governance aspect is still in the infancy, and we are still experimenting with things. The government is coming up with policies, and that's why these smaller autonomous government departments are still very scared. How do we take it, whether we be aggressive or we don't be aggressive. Even to push them up to going for an ERP was a huge challenge. So I guess that's probably what will happen with all other organizations of this size and scale, that you will have to climb each step every time.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you so much.